Hey, Dr. Berg, thanks a lot for taking the time to speak with me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Gary. How about you?
I'm doing real well. I came here today to speak to you about Visco supplementation. Are you currently using any?
Yes, I am.
And what are you currently using?
Sinvis.
Okay. And your patient population here in this office, what would you say the mix is? Is it mostly Medicare, Medicaid, private insurance? What do you deal with here?
Mostly private insurance, but I'll get a Medicare patient from time to time. But yeah, definitely mostly private insurance.
Okay, so with the Synvisc, would you say you're mostly scripting as opposed to buy and bill due to the private insurance population?
Yeah, definitely. Most of our patients are going to be scripted.
Okay, great. And who is currently dealing with the pre-auths here in the office?
Tisha, my office manager, handles all that.
All right, great. And now, to what extent would you say HA concentration impacts your decision with visco supplementation?
It's important. I mean, obviously, you want something that's a high concentration. What we're doing is injecting the HA back into the knee. But as long as it's comparable, I'm not gonna fight over a couple milligrams of concentration.
Right. Okay. And now, when it comes to term of efficacy for the patient, how does that how much of a priority is that for you with visco supplementation?
That's a huge priority. I'd say that's my number one deciding factor. Is how well does it work? If it's working, stick with it. If not, try something else.
Right. And now Tisha's job in the back with the pre-authorization, since you are mostly script with the private insurance, I would imagine that takes up a lot of her time. Would you agree?
You know what? I'm not too sure. I don't know how much of her day that takes up currently, but anything we can do to make her job a little easier, take something out of her hands, would be definitely something I want to hear about.
Okay, great. So just to make sure I understand where you're coming from, your priorities as a physician when it comes to visco supplementation is you want an effective HA concentration, efficacy is of utmost importance to you, and potentially relieving some of the duties from Tisha in the back could also be beneficial to the office. Do you agree?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, so now getting back to kind of what I'm doing here, I work for DePuy MyTech, which is a Johnson & Johnson company, and we have an injection for osteoarthritis somewhat similar to Orthovisc. And I think we can really address everything you look for in visco supplementation. And by that, I mean we have extremely high HA concentration, higher than Synvisc. Now, the FDA approved efficacy is just as long as Synvisc with 6 months approved efficacy. And we also have a pre-authorization program that's fairly unique and very comprehensive. We have someone that works directly for us, a grad school educated woman that it communicates very well and is a major role in our company with assisting the offices we work with when it comes to pre-authorizations. So by addressing all these concerns, do you think you'd be open to learning more about Orthovisc and potentially trialing it coming up?
I mean, before we get to that point of trying, I'd like to definitely hear more about the pre-auth program, a little bit more about the product. I don't think we're at that point yet where we go to a trial, but I mean, maybe we can set up a 15-minute meeting, sit down, meet you and Tisha, and you can tell us a little bit more about that pre-auth program.
Okay, that sounds great. When would be a good time to meet up for you?
Let's say next week I have a little time you can set up with Tisha. She has my schedule.
Okay, that sounds great. I'll also bring some additional Orthovisc literature to you, and we can speak about that as well.
Okay, great. Looking forward to it.
Thanks.